Good morning, welcome to this old mojo. I haven't done this probably in a couple years, but we're gonna go do a look at all of the bur oak trees. Oh, we got some buds on there. This is that tree that got chewed at the base and it killed it. Oh, it was probably yay tall. Killed it, cut it down, and then chose one of the suckers that came out. And then that first year, it probably got right up to about here. And now, oh, I'd say it's 9 feet tall. Not exactly sure how old this is. I think I planted 4 or 5 of them. There's one in the field right there. That one's not that big. And then there's another one down here. There was a couple up here and those died. Well, let's go look at this one real quick. So this one was planted at the same time, and it's had the top bitten off of it numerous times. You can see all the scars from that, and it has not gotten very big. I think these are 4 years old, something like that. They were real little trees, but it almost seems like if you cut it off at the ground and pick one of the shoots, they're gonna do better. All right, got another one right there, and then we have one up there that's from the acorns. I think that's 3rd year, but let's go look at the last of these out in the field first. Yeah, this one's doing pretty good. I think maybe it was just the deer that messed up that other one. Yeah, we'll skip the one in the middle of the field. We got a lot of trees to look at. There's 12 along here. Those are the original trees. And then there's a bunch along the road over that way. But I've found out that those are not bur oaks. So I'll go past them and show them to you. But the rest of the ones that I planted from acorn are way down there, and we'll go look at those as well. Yeah, this is looking pretty nice. I don't know what the heck these are, but I get them on all of the oaks. Yeah, got nice burly look to it. Not as much as some of the others, but still looks nice. All right, let's go look at that other one. That is the acorn tree, and then we'll get to number 1. The first tree I planted is right there. Oh no! Oh, it's bitten off. There it is right there. It looks like it's gonna make a comeback, but oh, looks like something tunneled under this. Damn. Well, I'll have to give you an update on that, and we'll see if it does as well as that first one we looked at. Okay, tree number 1, and I believe I either planted these in 18 or 19. I believe it was 18. Yeah, look at how big that is around. All of these were just tiny little sticks when they were planted. It's probably on video. I believe I was like right in the middle when I did the video of the planting. Yeah, this isn't like super gnarly. It's a pretty uniform tree. I would say It's probably about 12 feet wide and 15, maybe 20 feet tall. Hard to say. It is a very full tree. I'm surprised it's not used for nesting more. We only have one tree, and that's had a nest in it the last 3 years. I believe that's number 8. We'll get to that in just a second. Number 2. Not as big of a diameter, but fairly close. Not as tall, not as wide, but for the most part, it has the same shape as number 1. Just a little smaller. It's like that one 2 years ago. I believe this one had acorns on it last year, like 1 or 2, and the next 2. Still no acorns on that first one, and the ones right through here, but I've had acorns on the very last tree, number 12, for the last, 3 years or 4 years, which is where these plants that I'll show you, well, the plants that I'll show you last came from those acorns. Sickly little tree number 3. This tree for like the first 3 or 4 years was just like a whip, and it had a small little cluster of leaves at the end, and then it started growing a branch out the side that looked way better. So I cut that sickly part off, and that's why it goes up like this. This is also the tree that the deer, they broke one of the main branches off right there. We'll go take a look at that in a second. This one is growing way more gnarly than either one of those. Those are like a vase shape, and this one is, growing straight out at the bottom. This looks more like a bur oak to me. Yeah, it's completely gone. I believe, maybe it's the next one. Yeah, it has to be the next one. The scar is right about there. Yeah, it's right where the deer come through. Yeah, this is a beautiful tree. It's probably, 10, 12 feet wide, and 12, maybe a little bit tall. I don't know what these things are. I quit measuring them a couple years ago. I'll come back and measure them again in another year or 2. And yeah, that's probably about 6 inches in diameter. Yeah, about 6 inches. That first one's probably 8, and these 2 are 6. Yeah, and now we get to the challenged ones. This one has a big gopher or groundhog nest, whatever it is, but it doesn't really seem to harm the tree. But these next 3 trees have always been small, and they are way slower growing than the first 3 or the last 3 or last 4. Really gnarly bark though. Look at that. Yeah, this could be the gnarliest. Yeah, here is the scar, completely healed up. And that was really rough. I trimmed it off a little bit so that it would heal nice, and it certainly worked. Yeah, I love that corky bark on these. Look at that. That helps give them fire resistance. Yeah, this one definitely had, oh, probably a dozen acorns on it last year. I'm guessing this year I might get acorns on, oh, probably 10 of the 12. Yeah, this one is as wide as it is tall. Yeah, it's a good 10 feet wide, and it's probably only 9 feet tall. It's probably wider than it is tall, but it's got some nice straight out branches. It's a little congested. Lots and lots of branches. A few of these trees, I think this might be one of them, looked really sickly last year. Hopefully we don't get any deaths. Got a little bit of woodpecker damage right there. This tree, number 6, I forget what happened to it, but it was, I believe I had to cut it off at the ground, and I had a tiny little cover over it for the winter, and it got completely buried by snow because it was so small, while the other trees were, 4 or 5 feet tall, and it made a pretty decent comeback. It's still kind of sparse in the middle, but I don't mind that look. I think that's a little congested over there. It definitely has a bur oak look to it, but some of the branches are fairly smooth and some are real gnarly like this. See, it's real smooth right there and then really gnarly up there. Very interesting how every one of these trees has its own personality. Okay, tree number 7. This used to be the entrance gate to the horse pasture. It was right over here somewhere. And, well, yeah, it was right there, and it went across over by that tree right there. Yeah, this tree pretty much looks exactly like the tree right before we got to these short trees. Oh, I would say maybe half of our trees have a similar shape to this one. I like when they get them perfectly horizontal branches like that. When they get older, sometimes some branches will go way out and then dip into the ground and set off roots and make kind of another tree over there. Yeah, this one is probably maybe 12 feet tall. Not very wide. I would say 10 feet wide, maybe a little less than that. All right, number 8. This used to be, well, yeah, I guess it still is, used to be one of the best looking of the trees, this one and the first one. And it's the only one that has had a nest in it so far. Very full tree, really congested with the branches. I'm always tempted to prune some of this stuff off because these branches will rub until it opens up the bark, and these are, well, all oak trees are susceptible to diseases, so don't want that happening. At one point, I was going to prune off this branch here because it's kind of forking. Well, yeah, it is forking, and that can cause problems later on. The two branches will try to spread apart from each other, and then eventually it'll split. I don't want that, but I kind of want to keep its natural look. Yeah, this is a really nice tree. Not super huge. I would say it's yeah, it's maybe 12 feet wide and 15 feet tall. It's right about the same as the very first tree. And we come to number 9. This is the oddest one. For the longest time, it was a tiny little stick that came up and had like a little burst of leaves, and then it went up again for a long time and then had another burst of leaves. And you could kind of see that. I just left it alone, and this is that first burst of leaves right here, and this is the second. You could see how the branches are like one right after the other, and there's 3 feet of trunk right there with nothing on it. Really an odd tree. And then another 3 feet, and then another burst of branches. But this one is growing really nice and gnarly, and maybe the best looking tree out of all of them at some point. It's certainly big. Out of all the trees so far, this is the tallest. This is probably, oh, it's pushing 20 feet tall, and it's probably maybe 15 feet wide. Yeah, I mow around this, but soon I won't be able to mow on that side, which is just fine. Number 10. Again, this has that same look like that one and the first 3. Yeah, it does have the horizontal branches down low, and then they go to the vase shape right in the middle somewhere. But yeah, it's got some horizontal stuff there too. Yeah, these trees are all going to want to get really wide before they get tall, because they have no competition around them. Yeah, I'm going to have to start mowing further out around this as well. Again, I'm fine with that. Yeah, this is going to leave out really quick. And again, this one is forked. Pretty much the same as the last one. All right, now for the 2 big ones. Well, they were the big ones. Yeah, I guess they still are. These have both had acorns, but which is it? No, it's this one that has the most acorns. This tree is just completely full of acorns every year now. Yeah, look at all these branches going straight out to the side. Yeah, I guess it's between this tree and the one over there, that goofy one with the big long spaces between the branches. I guess this tree probably has the most bur oaky look to it out of all the trees. The bark is super gnarly. The branches, most of them, even going way up there, come way out horizontally. I think this smoothness right here, I think that's from birds landing on there. Yeah, beautiful tree. Love that corky bark. And then number 12, this is where we started out. That's that first tree we looked at. And that's the tree we didn't look at. Not a lot to it yet. I'll show that in a future video. This one has the horizontal branches as well, but like some of the others, it starts to get vertical, or it starts to get more vertical those are at like a 45-degree angle, and some of these are dead flat. Yeah, tons of animals use these trees, and they have such a cool look to them. These bur oak can live, I believe it's over 300 years. They are a very long-lived tree if they don't meet some kind of a disaster along the way. So I'm guessing, yeah, this one is probably 20 feet tall and 15 to 18 feet wide. We got probably 5 feet here. Yeah, 15 feet wide. I'll show these again in midsummer once they get leaved out. These oak trees, I don't know if they do this everywhere, but these get a flush of growth in early spring. They send out shoots and get, you know, a lot taller, well, a foot or 2 or 3. And then later on in the year, they have another shoot of growth, and it isn't as big, but they have 2 like bursts of growth every summer. Okay, the last 4 trees. Oh, I said I'd show the ones over here along the road. Let's show those real quick. I believe, oh, what was I? Oh, chestnut oak. I believe those are mixed oak. They have bur oak in them, but there's also chestnut oak, and I really don't know what they are. The nursery just sent me like whatever trees they had. This one here, right on the corner, I believe this is actually a bur oak. It certainly looks like one. This one was just tiny for at least 3 years. It might have been 4 years, and then it finally shot up. Bur oaks really like to take care of their roots first. When you plant them, they'll grow their roots out for a year or 2 years or possibly 3 years before they start shooting up the top growth. And you could tell by the leaves on these that they're different. Like this one right here really has no bur oak look to it. Little bit gnarly. They're probably crossbreeds from the nursery. This one, I believe, could be bur oak, but it definitely has chestnut oak in it, and the acorns are that big compared to the big bur oak acorns. And these other 3 are roughly the same. There they are. I've walked past here a couple times so far this year, and they appeared to be fine, but we'll see. Hopefully nothing got in there and ate them like that other tree. Okay, number 1. No sign of damage, and it's gonna leaf out pretty soon. Basically just 2 sticks, and it's about 2 feet tall. Maybe a little bit, yeah, a little bit more than 2 feet tall. Number 2. Yeah, this one's budding out a lot more. I was gonna prune this stuff out of there, and then I kept going back and forth. That would be a really interesting tree with the 3 main branches like that. But just like I said with the other one, with these branches, you know, all coming out from a very similar spot, they tend to break. This one is about 2.5 feet tall, a little bit more than that. I believe, oh, is this 3 feet? No, it's a little more. This is 40 inches, so yeah, this is 3.5 feet tall. This is the center row of the vineyard. That's a row there, that's a row there, and 3 more rows here. There was 2 actual rows, and then I had started planting that last one, and most of the stuff died, so I don't consider it a real row. Now, none of them are rows, except for this one. It's a row of trees. I gotta get down here and spray this stuff. That is a thistle rosette. It's not going to be a full-grown thistle this year, but it's easier to kill this year than next year. This time of year, next year, it might be that tall, and it'll get 5-6 feet tall. Okay, this and that one should have a cover on it. The deer come right through here, and they'll reach right in and bite the top off. They love to bite the top off. I believe this one was real sickly and then made a comeback. It's only about 1 foot tall and a single branch with a tiny little branch down at the bottom. We'll keep an eye on that, and I think it's going to do just fine. It appears to be real healthy. And the last one here, almost to the top of the wire. Yeah, I'm surprised I don't have a top on this. I probably should put one on. As soon as you get them tiny little green leaves, the deer just love to bite that off, and then, you know, it'll have to shoot out a new top branch from one of these side shoots here, and it just takes the tree a lot longer when it's like that. Not real gnarly yet. Starting to get gnarly on the lower part, but yeah, this is the biggest out of the acorn planted trees, and it's the last one. I almost forgot these trees. Got 4 of them right through here. I've planted so many different times. I think I have 1 or 2 out in the woods as well, but this one got bit to hell. Damn. It got split at one time. Yeah. They really massacred this. I'm probably going to have to cut this off at the ground. You could see where it's done that twice. Had new stuff coming up. We'll have to cut this off and then cage this for a few years. This one right here was planted on the same day as that one. That one never did get very tall. Even before it got bit up, it was just growing really slow. And this one was growing slow for the first year, and then it really kicked off. It is, about 10 feet tall and 6 or 7 feet wide. Yeah, this is going to be the only tree in this area right here. This tree is overgrown. Oh no. Rabbits got at it. Hopefully they didn't kill it. Or kill it to where it wants to send up new shoots. Damn it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put tubes on these. What a shame. Yeah, oh, it looks like the buds are green. So It looks like it's gonna make it. I'll have to get some tubes and get them on there. Take this little branch off and put a tube way the heck up to here. Yeah, that's from rabbits. All that bottom damage. That one up there was from rabbits and deer, and they didn't touch that one. Probably because it's getting close to the house. And there's one in here. This is it right here, I believe. Oh, that doesn't look like an oak. Oh, there it is. No. Yes, that is it. It's all bitten off. Yeah, and you could see where it's been bitten off a couple times. If and when that re-sprouts, and I'll have to watch it because all this stuff is going to grow up real quick, I'll have to put a tube around this as well and get rid of whatever this is. Damn. Yeah, these ones in the woods like this are really hard to keep alive because the animals really want to mess with them. Okay, that is going to wrap this up. I will do another update on the bur oak trees. I don't know if I'll do all of them like this, but I'll do another update once they're fully leaved out, just to show how they look in all of their splendor. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.